Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to day 15. Today, we will be going back and focusing on forgiveness. I do hope you enjoy it. So, do follow my socials. I tend to give a little bit of extra information on Instagram and Facebook to help you along your way. Okay, so I spoke to you before about forgiveness. And remember, I said to you that if you had, say, a grudge with somebody in the past, that they probably haven't given you a second thought. And to forgive, you need to forgive for you. Because holding on to it, you're basically swallowing a teaspoon of poison in your life every single day. Well, that other person has got on with it and they've moved on, and do they think about you? Likely not. So, to forgive, you need to remember it doesn't make what they did right. Not at all. What they did hurt you. And yes, it can be totally unforgivable in your mind right now. But if you forgive for you and not for them, and you decide to work on those emotions that you're feeling, helping yourself, that's a different story. You don't need to forgive and tell them, I forgive you, because that's not really going to do anything. What's important is that you work through it for yourself and forgive yourself. And forgive them for you so you can release that. And you're not swallowing that poison every day that's holding you back. You may disagree and say, but you don't know what that person did to me. It's unforgivable. But do you really want to swallow that poison? It just accumulates and accumulates, and it's impossible to stay healthy and free if you keep yourself bound to something that happened in the past. It's really over now. One of the biggest lessons that you can learn is to understand that everybody is doing the best they can at any given moment. Even you, every single person is doing the best they can. And so many people forget that because they see a smile and they think, oh, they're okay. But you don't know what is happening in the mind behind that smile. People can only do so much with the understanding, the awareness, and the knowledge that they have. And invariably, people who mistreat others were likely themselves mistreated in childhood. So, yes, they have their issues too. And no, that does not give them the right to hurt other people. It's not acceptable and it's not excusable. But however, for your growth, you need to understand that they have pain that maybe you don't understand. And it can help you move forward in the forgiveness pattern. The incident you're holding on to is over. So it's time to let it go and allow yourself to be free. You have a choice. You can stay stuck and bitter, or you can do yourself a favor by willingly forgive the past and letting go. And then moving on to create your own life like you'd like it to be. And like I said to you before, it takes time. It took me time to forgive my stepfather. And I haven't quite forgiven my mother yet because I have still got issues that crop up every now and again, and I realize that it's still affecting my life. Working on yourself is a constant thing. You don't just work on yourself, get to a point, and then you're perfect. Nope, that's not how it works. The purpose of today's lesson is to help you raise your self-esteem to such a level that you will allow loving experiences in your life. Now, remember, we all have ego. You can't say you don't, because you do. What we really need to in life is have a neutral ego, and that's what we all should be working towards. The negative ego makes us step into a room and our head is so big it can't fit in the door. We think we're better than everybody. That was my mother. When we have a low ego as well, we think that we're not good enough. So it works on the scales. We need to have a neutral ego, so we've got enough ego to sustain a healthy self-esteem and allow us to do the things that we need to do in life. We don't want to be this high and mighty nonsense, because that's not good. We can't look down on people. There's nothing worse than somebody who's so sanctimonious that they look down on others. It's better to lead your life by example than to be sanctimonious. And yeah, that's what I'd like to say about ego. So keep your ego in balance and try and work on that so you can have that perfect self-esteem. Now, having a perfect self-esteem doesn't mean that you're perfect either, although you are perfect, because yes, God didn't create rubbish, but He created you with flaws so that you can work on yourself and you can learn lessons. Gosh, I know I waffled on there a little bit, but I just thought it was important to add that in. So, let's affirm, as I forgive myself, it becomes easier to forgive others. Here's your exercise for today. Sit in front of the mirror, close your eyes, do a breathing exercise. Just breathe deeply and evenly several times and feel yourself calm and grounded. Remember your grounding and protection. Think of many people who have hurt you in your life and let them pass through your mind. Now open your eyes and begin to talk to one of them out loud and say something like, "You really hurt me deeply. I thought I would never get past this. However, I will not stay stuck in the past any longer, and I'm willing to forgive you." If you can't do that yet, just affirm, "I am willing." Your willingness is all it takes to move forward and toward forgiveness. Take a breath and then say to the person, "I forgive you, I set you free." Breathe again and say, "You are free, I am free." Notice how you feel. You may feel resistance or may feel relief. If you feel resistance, just breathe and affirm, "I'm willing to release all resistance." As you continue to do this exercise today or another day, expand your list of people to forgive. Remember, forgiveness is not an event, it's a process. And you may need to keep on working on one person a little longer than others. And a little advice there, try and work on one at a time. Don't overpower yourself with all the emotions. Choose one maybe that's really bothering you, and then go from there. Your journal exercise for today. Put on some soft music, something that will make you feel relaxed and peaceful. And then take your journal and pen and let your mind drift. Go back into the past and think of all the things that you're angry with about yourself and write them down. Write them all down. You may discover that you have never forgiven yourself for the humiliation of wetting your pants in the first grade. What a long time to carry that burden. I know, I was the one who did that. I was so afraid of fire, and our school did a fire alarm rehearsal, and we were trained where to go and what to do, and it worked on me so badly that there was going to be a fire, because my mother loved fire, and she'd go and literally put me in the car at 8 o'clock at night if we heard there was a house on fire. Yes, there was a house on fire, and literally I was so scared I could not look at the fire. I was petrified of fire. And the rehearsal at school just triggered something in that little 6-year-old self of mine, and I wet my pants because I couldn't go to the bathroom. What if the bathroom caught alight? So, yeah, that's a little insight into me. So, yeah, time to release those burdens. Now take the list and write a positive affirmation for each item. If you wrote, "I'll never forgive myself for this incident," then your affirmation could be that this is a new moment and I'm free to let go. Remember that sometimes it's easier to forgive others than to forgive yourself. Often we demand perfection of ourselves and are harder on ourselves than others. Yes, ladies, you beat yourself up. Don't deny it. I do it too. However, it's time to go beyond this old attitude. Forgive yourself, let it go. Give yourself the space to be spontaneous and free. And now, write down your journal and go outside. Put down your journal and go outside. Go to the beach, a park, anywhere you feel safe and where you can just be wild and free. Maybe you want to do it in your garden. Maybe go for a run. Maybe skip along the streets and laugh while you're doing it, and take your inner child outdoors with you and have some fun. So what if someone sees you? This is for your freedom. Maybe you want somebody to join you. Take your kids, you won't feel so embarrassed. Just a little heart thought for today. You are not what your parents did to you. You are not their beliefs. You're not their patterns of resentment. You are your own unique self. And you can open your heart to allow love, compassion, and understanding to flush out all the memories of past pain. You are free to be all that you can be. This is the truth of your being, and accept it. All is well in your life. Thank you so much for joining me today. I do hope you enjoyed it. Remember my socials. I am Pause for Self-Care on Insta and Facebook. Of course, TikTok and Twitter are below in the caption too.